Good morning or good noon to everyone. Thank you very much, Andrew, for inviting me to this stage. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to talk about change, but first of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Beata Osiecka, and I've been working for KNAPS for the last 24 years, which has been a fantastic journey for me. And maybe you know something about KNAPS. We are the largest office furniture producers in Europe. And there are a lot of numbers here, but I want you to remember just this number. We deliver 1,800 solutions for end users every day, which makes us quite experienced company. And this is actually the knowledge I would like to share with you today. So I will talk about the change, as my colleagues before. I will talk about why the changes appear in our offices, how much it should be implemented, when, to what extent. I will also talk about the concept, which is called next activity concept, and next office concept, the activity-based working concept. And for some of you who heard about it, I will also share some practical experience. For the rest, I hope I will be a little bit inspirational, although you are all waiting for the lunch. So I hope I can manage it within my 20 minutes. Okay, so what I would like to start is that Office has been always a tool which was a little bit underestimated as a tool to lead our organizations. But something is changing. It started to play a strategic role in setting the right organizational culture and also in creation of competitive work environment for most talented people. It started to be investment in something. So the expectations toward offices are still growing and growing. And for me, and for the rest of you probably, it's a one-way ticket. The office will never be the same again. I would like to first have a look at the office today. How good is it, or how bad is it? What disadvantages it has? So the first disadvantage I would like to point out is that today's office is really not suiting the activities we do during the day. If you look at this graph, it shows that only 25% of our time during the day is spent on the individual tasks made in the high focus. And when we look at our space, it's just opposite. 75% it's the desks of our space, which allows this work in focus and individual work, but only 25% of our space supports other activities like interactions, meetings, distraction, and also unplanned activities. Another disadvantage of our today's office is occupancy level. According to our surveys, about half of our desks stay empty during the day. And we don't know personally a company which has this index higher than 85%. So at least 15% of our desks stay empty during the day. And there are, of course, other disadvantages like, for example, the open space itself. It's too loud, it's too tiring. It doesn't allow the concentration, and it also doesn't allow the effective teamwork. Our offices are too standardized, which kills the feeling of being unique, and the work environment is completely not inspirational. And finally, the office is not flexible. So if we employ more people, then we have to invest in rearrangement, a lot of money and a lot of time. And I must say that we conducted a survey in Europe where 95% of our respondents said that if they had a very good work environment, they would for sure work more effective. But they don't. Only half of them have such environment. In Poland, it's even worse, because we keep asking our customers every time, how do you like the office before the change starts to come? So here's the answer, for example, of the questions. If the existing office support the company performance, the red area shows rather not. Or does it support the teamwork? Rather not. Communication? Not at all. Only 5% say, yes, it does support creativity. Only 5%. An existing office does not energize me. It doesn't encourage me to change plans during the day. I am showing you this data because it shows the area for improvement. The office just has to change. And some of them don't yet. Some of them still look like the ones which were used 50, 70 years ago. Well, maybe computers appeared on the desks. And those employers treat the office still as a place which has to be cost-effective and just an address for a company. But some of the employers say it's a little bit more. And it's an occasion to rethink our work culture and to work on the on investment in this work culture for the future. So, thanks God, offices are changing, and some of you have already a nice office or have been visiting a nice office. So what we can see, the first signs of those changes are, you still can see an open space, but it's higher quality, better acoustics. It's also not the same all the time. It means it has a lot of project areas, places for meet, or places to have a telephone conversation quickly. What you can see in the office already today, that we have much brighter and bigger and more attractive common spaces for everyone. Also, the design of the office starts to look much warmer, like home-like. That there are some places for concentration, libraries, focus rooms, places to rest and to recharge your batteries in the way like this, or in the way like this, maybe. Maybe you have this, something like this in your office already. Yeah, that meets the needs of those who work better while moving. So the question is, why those changes happen in our offices? Is it an experiment, a short-term fashion? Well, we believe it's an effect of a long-term trends. Some of them were already catched today. And I would like to summarize them because we also believe understanding those trends, understanding their nature, gives us more power and more knowledge about what will happen in the future. So 2 years ago, we published a trend book report where we defined 8 mega trends which influence our life not only at work, but at home, everywhere. But these big shifts, 8 shifts, will also influencing our life in the near future. So the first one is cradle to cradle, which is, of course, the obvious trend about ecology. But it's also about, not only about ecological awareness, but it's also about the corporate social responsibility. And it's also about the trend of people who want to live healthier and longer life. Another trend, of course, touched so many times today is the technology, which makes our work more mobile. And we can work from everywhere at any time. And we also have an easy access to the data. Then we have a fantastic demographic trend, which has 2 phases. The first phase is that our society gets older, and we have more and more elder people, so-called knowledge workers in our offices, because they want to, or they have to, or they are needed to continue to be active professionally. On the other hand, we have a Generation Y, and soon we will have a Generation Z coming into our offices, which has completely different learning and communication skills, value set, and behavioral preferences. So we face sometimes the situation that we have to put those 4 generations sometimes under one roof and create a nice office environment for all of them to make a team. So another trend, this is something maybe new for you, it's a new approach to the design, which in very short says that our life becomes more aesthetic and our life becomes more user-friendly. So do our offices. Soft values. very important trend in our management style. And you know it better than I, that soft values count in terms of leading our employees, and it will count even more in the future. That also includes work conditions and work culture. Another thing is teamwork. Shows the growing value of communication skills. Team is more creative and productive than individual. Most ideas are born during informal meetings, so the office should support this opportunity. Another interesting trend, a need for concentration becomes more and more important requirement for our life. How to disconnect and log out from for a moment, how to escape from this crazy life full of interactions, distraction, and heavy information inflow. And the last trend, I think it's very interesting to observe. This is freewheeling. This is a strong psychological trend which brings more democracy into our life. We want to have an influence. We want to have an influence on decisions where we work, how we work, when we work, how our office will look like in the future. So based on those 8 mega trends, we went a little bit further and we asked the question, okay, so what does that mean for the office? And we produced another trend report. Both of them can be viable for you. And this is kind of a guideline about 5 areas which have to be taken into account while designing an office. The first one is about diversity. Diversity means that the office should suit the preferences of very diverse groups of employees. We are diverse by age, and if not by age, then by gender, by languages, by hobbies, physical conditions, ways of working. Among our employees, there are always extrovertics and introvertics. Those ones who are anchored to the desks, and those ones who also want to migrate in order to interact and meet many people. So we are different. And we do not need an office full of the same shaped desks because we are not the same shaped people. One solution will never suit all. The design must fit the needs of many. In practice, that means the end of era of standardization. So the office where you see all the same desks put together will be a history very soon. Another trend is office biology. This is another part of the issues we have to take into account while designing the office. This is about a new kind of ergonomics, which is shown here in the wider aspect. It's not only about sitting in the right position, but also about moving in the office, because movement is healthier than sitting still. But it's also about soft aspect of working, such as energy level and well-being of every employee. Every office environment should adapt not only to our bodies, but also to our minds. Wellness is a new value, and design starts to be more human-friendly. Office should be a place we simply like and we feel good. I must say that yesterday, together with David, we have seen the fantastic show of the photos here in the gallery outside. From the technical point of view, it's a piece of art. Every photo is fantastic. But the story behind it is very sad. It shows the office without human, and the human without life, people who do not talk to each other, people who are lonely and who are unhappy. And what I am talking about is creating an office environment which is absolute opposite to those pictures I have seen yesterday. Techniture. It's obvious that analog and digital architecture influence our new workplace. Technology makes our work more mobile, less attached to the desks. We are talking about a paperless office and soon wireless office. So we have to include technology into our design of offices. Then we have a co-creation. Co-creation, it's about being more innovative by doing things together. That strategic decisions today are taken not by one manager, but the groups of employees or groups of customers. So this trend requires mass collaboration areas. The modern office is first of all a meeting place and should be a meeting place, which should support all those kind of interactions and teamwork creativity. And I promise you the last one, micro multinationals. That trend is about this sector. It's also about shared service and outsourcing sector, because it's about every individual being connected with the whole world. We can sit here easily in Krakow and operate with a company somewhere out in the other continent. So our office must be ready to host many nomad-like specialists who are just temporary guests in our offices. And this trend raises also a question of the corporate identity, especially for the outsourcing sector, which office should support. So, office should change. How? How should it change? So I will show you, I will talk a little bit about the activity-based working. Maybe you know about it. Anyone heard about this? Yes, of course, because this is a concept which is over 20 years old. But for the reasons we talked before, it starts to be very popular. So this is an office environment where in the middle you can see something which we call a home base. So this is a big common area where people start their work at the beginning of the day and they end it at the end of the day. And there are a lot of multifunctional spaces around this area, and people can travel, employees can travel and move among those areas depending on the activities they perform. So each space supports different activity. So nobody has its own desk. I can show the example, a model example, which we call Starlight. A company before change looked like this, quite a typical office space for the Polish situation. And we made a whole survey, all the games, all the reports were generated, and we found out together with the customer that this company is ready to go 100 activity-based working. So that means that this company didn't have to move out of the office space, even though they employed more of 10 people. They used the same space, but they rearranged it completely. The yellow areas is this home base area, and the other areas are just other spaces where people can use during the day with no limits. So you can learn more about Stargate company on our stand, because we have a virtual tour through this company, and you can learn more about that process. So full activity-based working solution has many advantages. It's more inspirational for employees, and believe me, especially young employees really love that. As a consequence, employer branding is improving, helping to attract and to maintain the best talents in the organization. Then it's proved that the people become more effective in such environment. Office area is more flexible, and it also costs less. It costs less, and this is the argument which usually financial directors love most. And this is not only our opinion, there are a lot of surveys and researches on that. One of those was made by our friends from CBRE, which show exactly the comparison between the costs of the fit-out plus furniture of the traditional office versus activity-based working office. And starting from the, let's say, middle quality level, activity-based working office is much more effective in cost per square meter, and even much more effective regarding cost per user. So the question is activity-based working a good solution for everyone, for all organizations? I don't know how are your feelings, but our experience says that it's not. It's in reality, it works only in a few examples where the company is fully ready for that. We also have some customers who went through the whole process, and they have chosen to keep their desk anyway in the office and just add some nice areas to compensate for that decision to the customers. But in average, this is a decision to choose something in between activity-based working and between what? Yes, what is the alternative for activity-based working in the modern world? The alternative is friendly open space. This is how we call the office, which is still based on the open space area where everybody keeps the desks, but these are very friendly solutions, and there are also a lot of other spaces which can be used during the day. So your next office can be somewhere there or somewhere there. That depends on on everything. So I must say that every project is very different. If you ask me about what would be the best solution for your organization, the only answer I can give you is I don't know. I don't know. But I know that it can be easily checked through applications that we have, which really can research deeply your work pattern and occupancy level, and also by the lot of workshops and games we perform with the teams of our customers to find out how they work today and how they would like to work in the future. So on the other hand, it's not only about tools and processes, but it's also about your decision, how you are going to change your work culture. This is your decision, your management decision. So, and I must say that putting a fancy sofa in a lobby, it's not enough. Do you maybe have a hammock in the office which has never been used? Or a ping pong table or any other kind of those things, fancy things which has never been used? I guess so. I know some companies who have those kind of solutions. Yeah, if you copy someone else's solution, it will not gonna work. If you are implementing the change with no preparation for change of your employees, it will not gonna work. If this change is not communicated well, it's not going to work. So the secret lies in the change management process, actually, and this is where we have the most inquiries from our customers to handle. How to inspire and prepare people for change. How to convince a middle management level to support the concept. How to limit the stress. How to deal with objections. And how to shorten the long wish list of our employees. At the end, how to make the new office a great place to work, which your employees will await with anxiety and enthusiasm. So let me summarize my speech. Offices are changing, that's for sure, and they will change. The question is not if, but when and how far. So I encourage you to have a look at your office space as an area for potential improvement. Plan your change in time, involve people, use specialists, and do not copy anyone else's solution. Make your own next office where everyone can be better at work. So if you would like to learn more about how we exactly do the process of changing, how the gaming looks like, maybe you want to play the game or see the virtual tour, you are very much welcome to the Kinaps lobby on the second floor. Thank you very much for the attention and have a nice rest of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Beata.